So, I kind of just made up this story, so I don't really know what it's called. I guess it's like the grandma and the little girl. Okay, so there was a family. There was a dad, a mum, and a little girl. They were like the perfect family, like the family you always wanted. And one day the mum was like, okay, sure, I will go out with my friends. So she went out and a terrible thing happened. A car accident happened. And everybody was sad, the whole town was sad. But the person who it affected the most was her husband. He was so sad. Every day he couldn't carry on. He got so depressed, and every time he looked at his daughter, he just got reminded of his wife. They looked the exact same, and he just couldn't carry on. So he thought, I can't take care of my daughter. This isn't the life she should have. And then he went through his phone and said, okay, who will be the best person to take care of my daughter? He went through and saw his mum. He called her up and said, can you take care of my daughter? I can't take care of her anymore. And she agreed delightfully. And she was like, okay, bring her over. So they went in the car, they drove over to her house, and then the grandma and the little girl, they met each other after a long time because the grandma's old, she doesn't have the best memory, and the girl was really young, so they couldn't remember each other. The dad went away, waved, and went to his own house. So the grandma and the little girl, they were together, and then she didn't really do anything, the little girl, but then she noticed that grandma really liked gardening. That was the one thing she loved to do, and she just realised how much this is what she would do. She would just garden all the time. She ate her food and just did some gardening. And over the years, she realised why she liked it so much. It was such a fascinating thing to do. So that became their new hobby to do together. They loved gardening, and their favourite thing to plant was roses. I mean, what wasn't there to love? It was vibrant, red, and it stood out amongst the rest of the flowers. So one day they were carrying on as normal, they were planting their flowers, etc. And then suddenly a tsunami of tiredness just hit them. And they were so confused, like, why is this happening? So they could barely even move, and they fell asleep. They fell asleep into their bed. And and as soon as the sun came out, they woke up. And they were like, and suddenly they saw a golden light in the corner of their eye, and they were like, oh, whoa, what is that? So they got their shoes on, they put them on, and then they ran outside. But then everything went back to normal. And then they were really confused, and they looked around to make sure that everything was still the same and they weren't dreaming. And then suddenly, there was a singing voice in the corner, and they thought, oh, what could that be? So they followed it, and then suddenly the perfect rose that they loved was just shining really brightly, and all the flowers around them just died. So it was a rose going really big and stuff, and it was all like bright. And then it was so bright that the grandma passed out of shock or something. And obviously the little girl didn't know what happened. So she was kind of surprised and was like, oh my God, what's happened? And she thought, oh, I can't let her die. She's the only person there for me. So she got the rose, she crumbled it up in her hand. She put it around the grandma. And minutes later, after crying her eyes out, the grandma woke up. And then she was